March. So, Raven.
Let us all pause for a moment of silence and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Lord, we thank you for this day and for gathering us here to learn and share knowledge. Guide our minds and hearts so that we may gain wisdom and understanding throughout this webinar. Bless our speaker and everyone present. Amen.
Ayan. So, pakiplay na po yung RTU March.
I see you, beloved RTU, will be forever true to the golden blue, forever true to the golden blue. Raise the banner golden blue, keep it flying high, symbol of our pledge to you to serve our people. Give the best of what we have, talent, skills, and strength. Offer every honor back to God and country, to God and country. RTU, beloved RTU, will be forever true to the golden blue, forever true to the golden blue. Every knowledge we have gained, every skill we learn, and the bodies that we form will be our treasures. We shall meet here years from now, full of pride and joy. Break this code and nurture us and shape our future, and shape our future. RTU, beloved RTU, will be forever true to the golden blue, forever true to the golden blue. RTU, beloved RTU.
Okay, so dito naman tayo yung webinar natin. Magkakaroon tayo ng kaunting palaro na may premyo rin. Pa-next niya. Ang rules nito ay yung title muna is Who's Wearing Who? From the title itself, magpapakita kami ng mga litrato. Huhulaan nyo kung sino yung mukha nila. Kasi may takip yung mga mukha nila, huhulaan nyo. Yun yung pinaka-twist ng palaro. So, bale, magbibigay kami ng mga clue at meron ding clue dun sa bawat page nung ipapakita naming mga litrato. Para makasali sa palarong ito, pag in-next na to, meron na kayong makikitang picture, paunahan na lang kayo mag-type sa chat box kung ano yung sagot nyo. Okay, next. Ayan, sino kaya yan? Tandaan nyo, Who's Wearing Who ang title ng ating palaro. Kung ano yung nakikita nyo, posibleng hindi sila yung sagot. Tingnan nyo maigi yung page na pinapakita namin kung ano yung iba pang nakikita nyo. Ito, magbibigay ako ng clue. Ano siya? Kung nanonood kayo ng wrestling, sikat siya sa wrestling. Sa WWE. Hindi. Sige lang, sagot lang kayo. Check ko yung ano. Hindi. Ayun, may nakasagot na si Mr. Tagbo Dara. Ayan. Next naman. Ayan, sino kaya yan? Who's wearing who? Hindi. Wala pa nakakasagot. Ano, ang clue ko dito, best friend nung naunang sagot. Uy, may nakasagot agad si Mr. Lorenzo. Okay, next naman tayo. Next na hulaan. Ayan. Who's wearing who? Hindi si Batman. Ano? Pag dito. Superhero din siya, tapos medyo comedy yung pagkakaano niya sa movie. Ayun, may nakasagot si Mr. Bara. Tama ka dyan, Deadpool. Next. Ayun, sunod naman. Ito, napakadali na ito. Napakadali na ito.
Nauna daw ata si Lucero.
Luto ka daw, pre.
Ha?
Bias ka daw, pre, sa ka-group mo. Lagot ka.
Pero sorry.
Hindi mo tinitignan yung comment section.
Sorry. So, clarification lang, ang nanalo dun sa pangatlo nating picture na pinakita ay si Mr. Lucero. Sorry pa. Ayan, madali lang yan. Name lang. Nasa One Piece. Ayun, kay Barosa na, Robin. Ayan.
So, good afternoon again, everyone. So, it is our pleasure to welcome all of you to our webinar entitled Software Hardware Co-Design for High Performance AI and ML System. Today, i-explore natin how the collaboration between the software and the hardware can enhance the performance, efficiency, and innovation of AI or artificial intelligence and ML machine learning systems. So, ayan, now it is our pleasure to introduce to you our guest speaker. Next slide po. Engineer Mike Albert M. Tejada. He is a computer engineering instructor at the International School Asia and the Pacific. He also serves as the Vice President for Education of ICPEP Region 2 and is a regional advisor for ICPEP SE Region 2. He is also a member of Technical Working Group Mechatronics and Robotics Society of the Philippine Research Journal publication. So with his experience in teaching and professional organization, he will share valuable insight into AI and hardware software co-design. So let us welcome him with a virtual round of applause, everyone. So hello po, sir. Thank you po for taking the time to join us today. The floor is now yours po.
Hi, good afternoon. I just want to confirm if I am audible.
Yes po, sir.
Am I audible? Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to become your, I can say I am not the guest speaker, but I can say I am the resource speaker for the topic software and hardware co-design for high-performance systems. You know what? Our topic is very interesting because as of this moment, we are living now in the world of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and quantum computing. And this type of computing machines talks about high-performance systems. Dito na tayo nabubuhay, doon na tayo papatungo. And later on this talk, I'm going to share to you what we call software and hardware co-design systems. And how is it important, this concept in developing a high-performance systems. No? I just want to make a, pangalan nito, parang, yeah, I just want to define the high-performance systems as I'm referring with the concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning systems. No? Doon tayo ikot. Hindi po ako pupunta in other area, but I defined or I choose the scope of high-performance systems with regards to AI and machine learning computational systems. First of all, my regards to your teacher, Dr. Gomez, who is also my research advisor during my master's degree at RTU. No, I am a former and I am proud alumni of RTU back because dyan ko tinapos ang aking master's. Regards din kay Dr. Villanueva at sa kasi may classmate ko dyan, si Ma'am Luna. You're familiar with Ma'am Luna, Ma'am Jenny. Classmate ko siya. Now, I'm going to start my talk. Allow me to share my screen. Paki-confirm if my screen is visible. Is my screen visible now? Hindi. Okay, confirm.
Okay na po.
Ayun.
Visible na po.
Okay, thank you very much for that feedback. You know what? It's very important for us to know the software and hardware co-design system, especially for AI and machine learning. Because as a future computer engineers, no, importante na kailangan natin maintindihan kung papaano yung software and hardware na madi-design together para makuha natin yung what we call the maximum performance and efficiency. So by the end of the session, no, gusto ko makita ninyo kung gaano kalaki yung role ng co-design sa mga AI models na ginagamit natin everyday, no, from the start of our phone up to our data centers. Now, why is it that we need to optimize the AI and machine learning models? No, we know that the AI models today, we are referring here for the models, we are referring to the algorithms na ginagamit natin, no, are very huge. No? If you're very familiar with, I know that you are very familiar with ChatGPT, that's generative AI, yung mga machine learning algos, deep learning algos. No? These algorithms contains millions or billions of parameters. No? In short, no, if we're going to analyze this one, these algorithms ay para kang nagbabasa ng isang giant book wherein every segundo, no, kung hindi mo optimize, mas mababagal yung computation. Ganito kasi yan. Now, I want to give you an example. When I run, no, I am fan of running AI and machine learning models. I'm very I'm very active if I am going to run machine learning algorithms. Hanggat hindi ko makukuha yung tamang timpla ng model, hanggat hindi ko nakukuha yung tamang accuracy na rine-required ng sarili ko or yung sinet kong standard, hindi ko nititigilan. You know what? If you're going to go back to my experience when I ran a code that is 3.42 gigabyte yung bigat ng file. Imagine yung bigat ng file na kapag i-open mo yung Excel, alam nyo kung ano mangyayari? Magka-crash down yung Excel. Hindi niya kayang i-open yung 3.42. So ang naging problema ko is that, paano ko kaya i-open itong 3.42 gigabyte na to? No? Paano ko siya i-run into machine learning? Ang problema ko, my computer is hindi siya yung updated na meron ngayon. I bought this computer last 2021. Ibig sabihin, this is almost 4 years. No? Ngayon, ang problema ko, I ran the 3.42 gigabyte. Wala akong pakialam sa data file, yung data size, yung kung gaano kabigat yung data. You know what happened to my laptop? Nag-crash siya. Hindi siya nag-open. Why is it is important for us to optimize? Why is it very important to have these co-design concepts? Because no, kung ano yung dinesign mong software, dapat ganun din akma sa ating hardware. Kaya siya nga dinibine na co-design system is that while you are designing the hardware component of your system, dapat dine-design mo na rin yung software component. In co-design, the concept is that sabay dapat ang pag-design for both hardware and software. Hindi po pwede na mauna ma-design yung hardware before software. Hindi rin po pwede na mauna ang software before maayusin yung hardware. Correct? Ang nangyayari po kasi sa atin, especially in computer engineering and computer engineering, if you're creating our systems, ang una nating binibili is the hardware components, right? Bibili tayo ng Arduino, bibili tayo ng napakaraming sensor, pero ang rini-require na project, ganito. Minsan, kaya tayo nagkakamali because hindi natin chine-check kung ano yung specification na kailangan. For example, you're going to create an IoT project. No? Internet of Things, wherein dapat, for example, it was connected into the internet. Pero ang binili mo microcontroller, you buy Arduino. Bumili ka ng sensor. What if ang binili mo, bumili ka ng ESP8266 and sensor, mas mura. No? So, ibig sabihin, if you're going to create these systems, we need to consider both, no? The hardware and the software. And dapat during planning, you need to consider both. Hindi po pwede na ito yung priority ko, hardware, before ako magsa-software. The concept of co-design system here is that it's very basic. Dapat sabay ang pagde-design ko in my system, both hardware and software. Why is it that very important for us to make co-design? Number one, we need to address yung bottlenecks in memory and computations. Sabi ko nga kanina, with my experience na I ran a 3.42 to be exact, gigabyte na data file. What happened is that nagkaroon ako ng bottleneck in memory and computation. Hindi kinaya ng computer ko na i-train yung 3.42 na data sets. The 3.32 gigabyte na data sets. If you're going to imagine, yung 3.42 gigabyte na data sets, ilang milyon kaya yon na data ang hawak niya. No? Hindi niya kinaya na rinan. To tell you honestly. Actually, rinan ko siya. Are you familiar with Google Colab? No. If you're familiar with Google Colab, that's a computer simulation or IDE na ginagamit for machine learning. You know what? Nakita ko doon sa memory, spike. Meron kasi yung memory doon eh. Nakikita ko sa RAM, nung rinan ko yung dataset, nakita ko sa RAM na nag-i-spike, no? From 1 gigabyte na na-utilize ng RAM, pumupunta siya diretso 12. Nag-crash. Doon ko na-realize na hindi pala kaya ng computer na gamit ko ngayon ang mag-run ng datasets na napakarami. Doon ko na-realize, during on my creation of PowerPoint, na co-design system is very important pala in creating systems. Hindi lang dapat na i-consider mo kung ano yung gusto mo. Pero you need to consider the requirements na kailangan. Kaya ano nangyari sa akin, I experienced this what we call bottlenecks in memory and computation. Aside from that, we need to optimize systems. The reason is that we need to have the energy and latency challenges. Why is this one? You know what? When we are creating systems that applies AI and machine learning, mas malaki yung energy consumption na ginagamit niya. No? To tell you honestly, sabi nila, artificial intelligence can answer the problems in sustainable development goals. Marami nagsabi no. But I totally disagree because artificial intelligence consumes more energy. Napakalaki po. No? Ang laki po niyan, ang gastos po niyan sa mga kuryente or power consumptions. So ibig sabihin, we need to optimize machine learning and AI systems, energy and latency challenges. We need to address this one. Paano tayo makakapag-design ng AI and ML systems na mababa lang ang energy consumption at wala siyang challenge when it comes to latency? And also, we have what we call this edge versus cloud AI differences. Moving on to the next slide is that what is the traditional, if you're going to mention this one, we have the traditional sequential design, and we also have what we call this co-design. Ano pinagkaibahan kaya ng dalawa na to? Traditionally, yung hardware muna ang dinedevelop natin when it comes to sequential design. No? Tapos, susundan na lang siya ng software. In reality here, in sequential design, nauunang hardware na dinedevelop before nila ipapasok yung program. Ang problema po kasi dito, my dear young friends, is that yung flexibility or hindi flexible enough yung ating dinedesign for complex workloads. No? Dapat, the software adapts lang sa hardware kaya hindi siya optimal. No? In short, no, ang nangyayari kasi dito kay traditional sequence, ulitin ko, ina-adapt lang ni software or nag-a-adapt yung softwares natin based on the hardware na na-design. Kaya nagkakaroon siya ng hindi na optimize yung ating systems, no? Imagine, no, in this sequential design, no, parang nagtatayo ka ng building, no? Tapos maghahanap ka ng furniture na swap, no? What's the result of this, no? May performance limitations, especially doon sa systems na complex ang design. Scalability is tricky kasi kahit dagdagan mo yung CPU or yung memory unit mo, yung performance ay doesn't improve automatically. Because hindi mo kinonsider dito sa sequential yung requirements ng software na kailangan ng hardware. No? So in traditional sequential design, ang nangyayari po, hardware ang muuna, software ang mag-a-adapt. While in co-design system, baliktad. The core idea of co-design system is there should be what we call simultaneous development of both hardware and software. The core idea here is dapat sabay ang development. Hindi hiwalay ang gumagawa ng ating software at hardware. Dapat they must be coordinated with each other. Ibig sabihin, they must test iteratively. Ibig sabihin, kung may issue ang software, dapat i-adjust na natin, no, yung hardware design. And vice versa. Kung may problema yung hardware design natin, dapat kailangan natin i-address or i-adjust natin yung may part ng software. The goal of this co-design system is to have an optimal resource utilization so that every parts of our computer, from transistor, memory unit, yung clock cycle natin, ay gagana based on its application. Okay? Now, what is my seminar objective here? This is just an introduction. The goal of this seminar is going to discuss the basic of co-design systems. We're going to explore the architectures and layers. We're going to study the performance metrics, and we're going to analyze some real-world examples and future trends of this co-design system. Sabi ko kanina, no, they defined co-design systems as hardware and software must be optimized together instead of separately. Ibig sabihin, dapat joint force, dapat sabay sila sa pag-development. Hindi dapat may iwan, dapat sabay sila. It is an iteratively process wherein the process includes we need to profile, ibig sabihin we need to have the system requirement, ano yung kakailanganin, both hardware and software. We need to test and we need to adjust until both layers are sufficient. And this co-defined system, co-design helps us later on to reduce the latency and also improve the throughput so that the computer programs na i-run natin in a computer later on or in a machine later runs faster. Usually, the co-design concept is usually tailored for specific workloads, just like in training the large language model, no, making sure that the resources are used efficiently. And these co-design systems help us to create energy-efficient systems, no, which is especially important sa mga edge devices or yung mga large-scale cloud data centers na meron tayo ngayon. In sequential design, no, what's the difference between sequential versus co-design? Paulit-ulit po tayo. In sequential design, hardware first and then software follows. But in co-design, dapat simultaneously and iterative yung concept or yung pagde-design natin dito. Ibig sabihin, dapat feedback loops are immediately. Ibig sabihin, sa co-design system, feedback, ibig sabihin, kung may problema sa software, i-adjust ang hardware. Kung may problema ang hardware, i-adjust ang software. And this co-design leads for a faster development cycles because the adjustments are done on fly. No? Especially in co-design, yung mga resources natin ay na-utilize better. No? Parang lahat ng workers and tools are coordinated. Moving on to the next slide is that the historical context. No? We all know that the co-design started sa ating embedded systems where the memory and computations are limited. No? Early microcontrollers at also mobile devices needed a careful alignment to the hardware and software para mas maging efficient siya. However, with the trend of artificial intelligence and machine learning, kailangan din natin i-evolve yung co-design systems natin. No? As you can know, no, nagkaroon na tayo ng high-powered computer machines. No? Nagkaroon na tayo ng mga generative AI. No? GPU na yung kwan ngayon, yung uso ngayon. Hindi na po pwede na yung laptop mo wala ng GPU. Correct? Di ba? The principle from this co-design system is that it came from small devices that need to scale up to massive systems. No? Same idea pero complex. No? So even today, the concepts of co-design systems apply both, especially for both small edge devices and also in large cloud data centers. Now, why is it that ano kaya yung co-design ngayon? No? The scope of co-design today composed of high performance computing, wherein it needs to optimize both hardware and software interaction for huge models. Ibig sabihin, hindi po pwede na medyo mga low specifications lang yung computer na gagamitin mo. If you run image processing, no? You are referring to thousands of data sets dyan, thousands of images. Hindi naman po pwede na yung computer mo ay napakababala yung specs. Okay? Now, sabi dito, AI inference on edge devices, when we are referring to here, yung mga edge devices natin, yung phones, drones, or sensors. No? The scope today of co-design system is we need to have to work on the limited resources, and also we need to consider the low latency. We need to require limited resources pero low latency siya dapat. So cloud AI also uses co-design for throughput and energy optimization. Even robotics and autonomous systems rely also on co-design for real-time control, and also the cross-domain applications for real-time control. They use co-design systems. These co-design systems is now applied in different applications. Hindi lang natin napapansin. If you are very familiar with Internet of Things project, yung mga smart cameras natin, self-driving cars, those are the scope today of co-design systems. Doon na-apply yung co-design systems natin. So, what are the basic example of co-design systems? If you are very familiar with the computer that handles, or the central processing unit handles the logic and scheduling of your systems. Ibig sabihin, dapat yung computer na ginagawa natin or ginagamit natin ngayon, dapat mataas yung central processing unit natin para yung logic and scheduling ng ating computer mas mabilis. If you're hindi naman na pa pwede na tayo ngayon. Magagamit tayo ng computer na Celeron. Wala nang ganon. No? The CPU handles the logic and scheduling, wherein the GPU now handles heavily parallel computations. So ibig sabihin, kung hindi natin kino-design yung CPU or GPU natin can sit idle waiting for data, which is nagiging inefficient po siya. Optimization also reduces the idle time by ensuring compute units are fully used. No? The best example here is yung if you're very familiar with TensorFlow. Yung TensorFlow po kasi ay gumagamit siya ng what we call the TPU. This is a great example. The software here is optimized. Ang software na ginagamit is TensorFlow. At ang TensorFlow ay gumagamit ng memory na tinatawag nating TPU para mas mabilis as mas maging energy efficient yung ating co-design. Overall, we can say now that the co-design systems now improves dramatically the system performance. If you're going to consider the co-design system in designing our systems, we will be having an improvement of performance of our systems. Kasi mag-work na dito ngayon yung hardware and software design. What are the complexity of AI models is also an examples of co-design systems, no? Because of this convolutional neural network, the recurring neural network, the transformers, no? When we say transformers there, we are referring to large language models. And if you're very familiar with your generative AI, with you are referring to ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, or whatsoever na ginagamit ninyo, those are large language models. Na-train po yan. It handles millions and billions of parameters. Wala po kayo sanang ginagamit na generative AI, na ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude AI, or whatsoever kung wala yung concept ng co-design. Nagigets? Doon po pumapasok yung concept ni co-design. So, we all know that these AI models are very complex, no? Because of this billion of parameters, no? Para kang nagbabasa, sinabi ko kanina, ng library with millions of books in just seconds. And if you're going to analyze it, it's very challenging. And because of this, complexity of AI models, they require huge computational powers and memory bandwidth. Ibig sabihin, dadapa, no? Yung memory mo, dadapa din ang computational power mo kung hindi ka nag-improve. So, kung hindi natin ma-optimize, yung processing becomes extremely low, tatagal. Kaya kailangan natin i-optimize yung co-design para mas mabilis at mas maging efficient yung ating model execution. Now, we also have here the memory bottlenecks. I already discussed this one. That co-design can answer the memory and bandwidth limitations, the data transfer delays, the latency impact, the edge devices sensitivity, and the co-design system address this one. No? With the help of co-design systems, ma-answeran niya yung memory bandwidth natin, limitations, no? Kasi once na napuno na yung memory bandwidth natin sa computer or hindi na kaya ng computer natin yung memory to run that software, minsan hindi na siya gumagana or naglalag na. And also there is what we call data transfer delay if hindi rin maganda yung one natin. So ibig sabihin, co-design system is very important right now. Now, also, co-design systems answer the problem on energy and performance constraint. No? So we all know that edge devices have limited battery, data centers consume massive energy. No? So kung hindi natin control to, no, ibig sabihin, magkakaroon tayo ng problema. And co-design system will balance this one, the performance, the energy, the wasting power. Ang ine-ensure lang po ng co-design systems natin is that ibabalance niya both performance and energy at ine-ensure niya na yung system performance natin ay maganda without consuming much power. Next is that the co-design systems can answer the problems on edge versus cloud AI. When we say edge AI kasi, mababa yung latency natin, limited resources. While on cloud AIs, these are high throughput, no, and network delays. we all know that in HAI, these are devices that are, ito kasi yung mga devices na usually nagra-run lang in our phones or drones. No? If you're going to study this one, yung HAI natin, yung drones na lumilipad, yung cellphones na hawak natin. No? Low latency siya, pero limited din yung computation at memory. No? Mababa lang yung mga specification. In cloud AI, it has high throughput, no? Dahil yung meron tayong powerful servers, no? Pero may mga network delays. So kailangan natin i-optimize strategy to para sa deployment. Now, the trade-off here is anong pipiliin ba natin between edge and cloud AI? Is it the speed or the energy? Or is it the accuracy or the memory usage? And the co-design systems help us to balance this. No? Binabalance ni co-design yung speed at energy, mabilis pero maliit lang yung energy consumption, accurate at mababa lang din yung memory usage niya. So that's the application of co-design systems. Now, in real world, sabi ko nga kanina, this is, if you're very familiar, kung nagra-run kayo ng mga machine learning and AI algorithm using Google Colab, makikita nyo ito sa Google Colab, the Google TPU, wherein this is a custom accelerator that is designed for TensorFlow workloads. Ibig sabihin, this TensorFlow workloads is designed for AI and machine learning works, no coding. So the software is now optimized for the TPU hardware para mas magkaroon ng full performance at ma-utilize ng full performance ang ating TensorFlow. It accelerates the deep learning computations if you're going to compare it with CPU and GPUs. No? The results of this co-design, i-explain ko tong TPU na to, nagawa si Google TPU po because they want to have a software na mas madali na lang using library yung pagkukode natin ng machine learning or deep learning. Ang nangyari po dito, they designed the TensorFlow software. Itong TensorFlow software ay ginagamit natin for AI or ML. Ngayon, para mas madali nila ma-optimize, gumawa sila ng tinatawag nating TPU. Kaya na-develop si TPU. No? That's an example of real-world example of co-design. Ano nangyari dito? With this TPU and TensorFlow, no, naging huge speeds up and na-reduce yung energy natin per operations. This clearly demonstrate na may advantage ang pagde-design ng hardware and software together for AI workloads. No? So this is a real-world example na meron tayo. Now, what are the hardware components na kailangan natin makita if we're going to have the design? No? Design or a co-design rather. So there are different hardware units. No? The CPU is used for general tasks. No, general task. The GPU stands for parallel computation. The FPGA is used for customable logic, and the ASIC is used for a specific AI task. Also, no, if we are going to consider, no, in the hardware components of our co-design, mamili ka. Kung for general task lang ang gagamitin mo, di gumamit ka ng CPU. Pero kung parallel computation, gagamit ka ng parallel computation because medyo mabigat at marami kang iraran na mga instruction, then you can use the GPU. And if you want to use customizable logic, you can use the FPGA. And if you want to have a AI-specific task lang, you can use ASIC. Next is that you need to consider also the memory hierarchy because it affects the speed. The faster memory need to compute. No? Faster memory, mas madali siya mag-compute. Slower memory for large data sets. No? Also, we need to have the interconnection and the bandwidth. The bandwidth determines kung paano kabilis yung ating data na mag-move. These are the things that we need to consider. We need to have also consider the specialized accelerators. No? Gaya ng mga tensor cores or yung mga TPUs natin para mas ma-optimize at mas mabilis niya ang mas mabilis niyang magawa yung specific operations. And these hardware components ay kailangan nating masiguro, no, at magamit at ma-consider para mas mag-work, no, together yung ating high performance systems. So ulitin ko, we need to consider number 1 dun sa hardware components, kung anong gagamitin natin if we're going to use the CPU, GPU, FPGA, or the ASIC. Also, the memory hierarchy, we need to consider that one. We need to consider also the interconnections and the bandwidth that we are going to use in our hardware components and the specialized accelerator. On the other hand, we need to also consider on our software components, no, yung mga different ML frameworks if we're going to design high-performance systems that applies in artificial intelligence. Pero if you're going to design computing systems, we need to consider computer frameworks na swak din doon sa hardware na kailangan. Okay? Malamang sa malamang, no, if your ML frameworks use TensorFlow, ibig sabihin, gagamit ako ng TPU para gumana tong TensorFlow ko, di ba? We need to also to consider the required compilers and runtime systems. No? Because compiler translate the model's instruction to hardware while the runtime system manage the executions. So ibig sabihin, we need to consider this one. Also, the libraries and the APIs na ginagamit natin because these libraries and APIs provides optimized function for operations like matrix computation, subtraction, or whatsoever. No? Also, software can be tuned for hardware-specific optimization, especially if you're going to adjust the batch size or memory layout for upper GPU. So, ibig sabihin, we need to have to efficiently task mapping para ma-ensure natin na no computation units ay magkakaroon ng stagnant or pagkakaroon ng maximizing yung pagka-stagnant or pagkalag natin at ma-maximize natin yung throughput. Now, balikan natin in the hardware components or designing a co-design systems, you need to consider for the hardware components, the CPU, the GPU, or the processing unit na gagamitin mo, the memory hierarchy, the interconnections and bandwidth, and also the specialized accelerator. While on the software components, you need to consider the programming frameworks, the compilers and runtime systems, the libraries and APIs, and also we need to optimize also our hardware. Now, one of the concepts also in data in co-design system is what we call the data flow optimization. So the data flow optimization decides how the data moves from memory to computer units efficiently. No? We need to have proper mapping para ma-minimize natin yung bottlenecks and also ma-prevent natin yung problema natin with the computation units. Ibig sabihin dapat there should be a parallel operations na ma-schedule para mas maximize natin yung concurrency. For example, if I'm going to run a convolutional neural network layer, no, with Fusion, it combines multiple of operations. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo or nagkakaroon ng multiple operations para ma-reduce natin yung memory access. And this data, we need to optimize the data flow para ma-ensure natin na mataas yung throughput at mababa yung latency natin, which is crucial sa real-time application ng AI and machine learning if we're going to create our system. So, number one, also, in designing co-design system, we need to have the data flow optimization. The next concept here is we need to also consider the communication and synchronization. No? Dapat, yung hardware and software natin needs a precise communication for a smooth execution. It should be latency-sensitive protocols is also important for real-time tasks. dapat meron tayong correct execution order para ma-ensure natin na yung results are accurate at walang computer unit na naghihintay unnecessarily. Dapat, the synchronization prevents the idle time in parallel computation. Ibig sabihin, this co-design or the communication and synchronization must be considered in order for us to reduce yung delays natin in parallel computation. This is especially critical if we're going to create an AI task, especially in autonomous navigation or streaming video analysis. Dapat kinonsider mo or maganda ang communication and synchronization mo. Dapat ang hardware and software mo dito ay precise communication para magkaroon ng smooth communication siya. Now, ulitin ko in co-design system, we need to have a communication and synchronization. Next is that, how are we going to design a co-system or co-design system? Number one, we have the pattern profile, optimize, test, and then we're going to repeat. Profile, optimize, design. Kaya siya tinawag na iterative design kasi paulit-ulit siya. Iterative design means we need to continuously profile. Profile, ibig sabihin, we must know the requirements that we are going to do. We need to optimize, we need to test, and repeat again the process. And we also need to use simulators for verifications in creating co-design systems because these simulators help us to predict the hardware behavior before the actual deployment. We need to debug across hardware and software to fix bottlenecks or errors. We need to ensure that there should be a functional correctness in our systems. Na yung system dapat natin, nakakapag-provide siya ng lumipat na ako, Yan. Nakakapag-provide siya ng nakakapag-provide siya ng accurate results kung anong meron po tayo. Okay? And then, the process of this iterative design and testings help us later on to have a maximum performance in our co-design. And also, we need to minimize the latency and energy efficiency, which is crucial now in our high-performance computers. The next concept is also what we called here the co-design flow overview. Para makapag-create tayo ng co-design overview, we need to have the problem definition first. Ano ba yung task na kailangan nating gawin sa isang computer? So these are the steps. Paano tayo i-implement or paano natin i-implement yung ating co-design? Number one is the problem definition. Ano ba yung task na gusto nating mangyari sa computer at ano yung mga requirements na kailangan niya? And then based on that problem definition, doon na tayo magde-decide kung ano yung hardware or software partition na gagawin natin. After doon, we need to have what we call the optimization and simulations para mas maging ma-ensure natin na yung tasks are efficient and predictable. And after that, we need to have the integration and testing para ma-check natin if everything works. And finally, doon natin i-deploy yung systems natin. So, ulitin ko in order for us to implement co-design systems, unang-unang step is we need to have the problem definition, the hardware and software partitioning. From problem definition, it talks about requirement analysis. And then from the requirement analysis, i-decide natin yung partitioning ng hardware and software. After that, doon tayo magde-decide for optimization and simulation. And then after that, we will be having the integration and testing. Then after that, deployment. So what are the different partitioning strategies? na meron tayo. We have the functional partition, no? Wherein this functional partitions assigns operation to different hardware units. While on data partitioning naman, we've split the data sets for parallel processing. And then we have also decide, no, we need also to decide which is ano kailangan natin consider. Is it the computation or the memory allocation para ma-avoid natin yung bottleneck? Also, task scheduling ang importante, and we need also to have a balanced workload para mas ma-maximize natin yung throughput and reduces the latency. So ibig sabihin, there are different strategies. Functional strategies, ginagamit natin for hardware para magkaroon siya ng different operation from ating different hardware units. Data partitioning, i-split natin yung datasets natin for parallel processing. And for the iterative optimization naman, we have different strategies like profiling the bottlenecks, adjusting the software, modifying the hardware configuration, testing improvement, and then we need to repeat until we met yung target natin. So we need to have the iterative optimization because kailangan natin ito. First, sabi dito, we need to profile the bottlenecks, like which layers are too long, ano yung mas mahaba, bakit kaya mahaba siya. Then we need to adjust the software para ma-modify natin yung hardware configurations niya or ma-change natin yung memory usage niya. And then after testing, we need to repeat again. So these are the iterative optimization. Profiling bottlenecks. After na profiling bottleneck, nakita natin yung problema, i-adjust natin yung software. After that, i-adjust din natin yung hardware, i-modify natin until nagkakaroon na tayo ng testings and improvement. And we need to repeat this process para yung target performance natin ay ma-meet. In short, parang nag-tune tayo ng isang car engine for maximum speed and efficiency. It's just like a trial and adjustments ang ginagawa po natin dito. Now, what is this hardware and software co-simulations? Hardware and software co-simulations, these concepts allows us to predict the performance between the actual deployment, which can help us to save cost and time. With this hardware and software co-simulation, we can verify the correctness and evaluate the different designs or choices without building the physical hardware. In short, from the word simulation, meron tayong dapat gagamitin dito na computer simulations between the hardware and software para i-check muna natin to simulation kung gumagana ba siya before natin i-implement in physical systems. Because of this hardware and software co-simulation, we can verify the correctness and we are going to evaluate the different design choices without building the physical hardware. It also helps us to identify the bottlenecks early, yung mga problema like the memory or computer delay so that they can be fixed before the production. Now, there are different approaches ng ating co-design. We have the hardware-aware software design. We have the software-driven hardware adaptation, collaborative optimization, high-level synthesis, and platform-specific tunings. So, in the hardware-aware software design, this code, hardware-aware software design code to fit the hardware capabilities. While on software-driven hardware, adapts hardware configuration based on the software needs. So, ibig sabihin, sa hardware-aware software design systems, if-fit natin yung kaya ng ating software capability. Kay software-driven hardware, it adapts the hardware configuration sa ating software needs. Collaborative optimization, ibig sabihin, i-tune natin both layers, both hardware and software. High-level synthesis converts software description into hardware logic efficiency. And platform-specific tuning ini-optimize natin for specific accelerator like the TPUs or our FPGAs. Now, what are the architecture layers in co-design? We have the application layer, the algorithm or model layer, the compiler and runtime layer, the hardware abstraction layer, and the physical hardware. So these are the multiple architecture layers, no, in co-design. Ano yung application layer? Ito yung mga user-facing apps na ginagamit natin. No? Yung application na ginagamit natin. The algorithm and model layer, these are the AI models or programs na ginagamit natin. The compiler and the runtime layer, these are the software and hardware translation. Paano na-translate yung ng ating software at hardware yung mga command galing sa ating application layer. We also have the hardware abstraction. This is an interface to physical hardware and physical hardware itself. And we need also to understand how these layers work. No? Ulitin ko po, in co-design, we should have the hardware application layer wherein these are the user-facing applications. Ito yung applications natin. The algorithm and model layer natin, these are the AI models, algorithms, or programs na ginagamit natin. The compiler and runtime, this is the layer na pinaglaranan ng ating algorithm and model layer. And then the hardware abstraction, these are the interface to physical hardware. This is the layer wherein this is just a connection of our to connect rather our physical hardwares. So this is very important for us to understand each layer para mas ma-optimize natin from end to end. Now, in co-design systems, we need to consider these performance metrics. No? The latency here means the time of one operations, kaano po siya kabilis, no? Gaano siya kabilis to have an operations. Throughput, it talks about operations per seconds. The energy efficiency, yung energy usage po nito. The memory utilization, gaano kalaki yung ginamit ng memory when we run. And also the accuracy. So these are the performance metrics na kailangan natin i-consider when we run, no? When we design performance metrics. Ibig sabihin sa latency, kung mas mababa yung time ng latency natin, mas maganda yung co-design. Yung throughput natin dapat mas mababa. Yung energy efficient natin mas mababa. Mababa dapat yung utilization and dapat mataas yung accuracy. Okay? So for example, no, para noong dinesign nila yung ating self-driving car, they need this one. No? Alam niyo, self-driving car, that's an example of reinforcement learning algorithm. It's a system that uses high-power computing. No? So ibig sabihin, during that time they designed that self-driving car, they use these performance metrics like latency, throughput, energy efficiency, memory utilization, and accuracy. Bakit kaya ginamit nila to? Para matest nila kung tama or ready na for deployment yung ating systems. Sir, paano kung may problema po dito sa may part ng latency? So ibig sabihin, there's a problem on your co-design systems. Ibig sabihin, you need to adjust your computer programs or hardware. It's either nasa hardware or software yung program mo later on. Kuha? So ibig sabihin nga kanina, if you're going to go back on the co-design flow or process, we need to have requirements analysis, wherein the requirement analysis should answer or should have the required data or software, or hardware and software na gagamitin. Moving on, in the real world examples, we have the Google TPU, I already discussed this one, the NVIDIA Tensor cores, the Edge AI with mobile GPUs, the FPGA for CNN interference, and the robotics co-design. Other than this one, yung mga computer systems natin, that's an example of eco-design systems. No? Kasi malamang dapat swak din, no? Yung mga hardware requirements mo doon sa kwan. Alangan na maglalan ka ng mga computer programs using Celeron. No? Alangan naman mag-i-install ka ng mga Adobe Photoshop doon sa Celeron. Hindi niya na kaya. So ibig sabihin, they design the Adobe software into a specific computer or high-performance computer para mas magiging efficient and effectively yung usage. That's the concept of co-design. Now, what are the different advantages of co-design? Number one, co-design systems improve performance. It also reduces energy consumptions. It also lower the latency, optimize the memory usage, and scalability. So ibig sabihin, with this co-defined system, mas mapapabilis at mas nagkakaroon na tayo ng maliit na problema sa ating computers. And because of co-design, our computers right now or our high performance machines, mababa na lang yung energy consumptions niya. Hindi gaya dati na napakalaki. And also, nagkakaroon tayo ng lower latency at mas na-optimize na natin yung memory usage ng ating computer. Okay? What are the challenges, no, and disadvantage in creating co-design systems? Number one is high design complexity, the longer development cycles, the requires specialized knowledge, the hardware and software dependency, and also the cost of prototyping. So the challenges here in co-design is that we need to include the complex design and sometimes the longer development cycles. No? Nagkakaroon siya ng mas matagal na development, hindi siya panandalian, pero pangmatagalan po siya. That's the benefit naman ng co-design system. Pangmatagalan siyang development, hindi siya pamadalian, pero pangmatagalan naman siya in terms of utilization. Now, what are the different tools and techniques for co-design systems? When we talk about tools and techniques, these are the things, no, that developer use to make the co-design system possible. So number one is that the high-level synthesis tools like the Vivado or Intel HLS help us to convert here the software code from C to C++ into hardware logic. Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis siya kaysa sa manual hardware description languages. Then we have the hardware description languages such as the Verilog or VHDL para ma-fine-tune natin yung hardware control natin. Also, AR framework integrations, no, like the TensorFlow, PyTorch, TinyML, para yung code natin ay directly nang nag-uusap or may communication sa ating hardware accelerators. And then we also use profiling and simulation tools like the Model Sim, Nsight systems para ma-monitor natin yung bottlenecks. And finally, the cross-layer optimization tools para mas ma-analyze ng performance from model to hardware para mag-guide natin yung adjustment across the entire systems. Next, we also have the compiler tools like the LLVM, the hardware and software co-simulations, the FPGA prototyping, customs accelerators library, optimization, and AI-assisted design. These are the different tools. Now, we also have the different case study here. Yun sabi ko nga, this is an example or real-world application ng TPU acceleration. This is the prime case study na gumamit ng co-design. No? Na-share ko na sa inyo kanina kung ano tong TensorFlow and TPU. Okay, this is usually nakikita natin to sa Google Colab. And these TensorFlow and TPU accelerations are very efficient and effective in creating AI models. No? Ang laking tulong niya, no, nas mapapadali. Ibig sabihin, yung Google Colab kasi is na kung alam mong mababa na yung computer mo at hindi niya na kaya mag-run ng AI and machine learning models, ginagawa ko doon ako sa Google Colab. Kasi doon merong mga GPU, may CPU doon. Magbabayad ka na lang for GPU. Pero kung gusto mo ng normal TPU lang, meron lang din naman, walang bayad. The case study to is the FPGA and CNN. No? This is a customized hardware logic that accelerates the convolutional neural network operations, which result to high throughput and low latency. And then, We need to in energy in co-design, it answers the problems, or in co-design, we can have systems to have an energy efficiency. No? Nagkakaroon tayo ng pruning and quantization, which reduces the computation of losing accuracy. Mas pinapababa din natin yung ating the voltage and frequency scaling lowers the power in our hardware systems. No? Na-optimize natin yung memory access natin. And these are the key, no, for edge devices like drones or smart cameras. If you're going to analyze now, no, ang daming applications ng co-design systems natin. And napakalaking tulong ni co-design systems with regards to answering the problems on high performance systems. Kasi ang problem ngayon ng high performance systems is that mabilis nga, pero hindi naman siya energy efficient. Napakamahal naman yung hardware na requirement. Just like in quantum computing, no? If you're going to have to compare yung quantum computer, are you familiar with quantum computer pala? Yes or no? Are you familiar? Hindi. Yung quantum computer, this is the future of computer right now. Mas mabilis po siya kaysa sa mga classical computer. Ang sabi nila, no, a quantum computer can break the encryption key. Are you familiar with AES 128 na encryption key? That's in digital and data communication. No? Ang quantum computing, kaya daw sirain ang isang encryption key, which is the AES key ng oras. Ganon kabilis si quantum computer. Wherein, kung sisirain mo daw ang AES 128 key using classical computers, aabutin ka pa daw ng 200 years para masira. Kaya ang problema ngayon ng mga cybersecurity is that how they can be able to address the problems later on ng quantum computing with regards to cybersecurity. If you're going to check the quantum computer right now, mas naging energy efficient siya. Mas mabilis si quantum computing. But the problem is kay quantum computing is that specific lang yung task na kaya niyang gawin. Wala na pong iba. Hindi niya na po kayang mangyari or hindi niya na po kayang gawin yung mga task na gaya ng ating mga computer. Yan. This is the performance optimization techniques for co-design, the layer fusion, pipelining, parallelism, memory tiling, the task scheduling. So these are the things that we need to consider if we co-design our AI computers. And also, the hardware and software collaboration is very important in co-design systems. No? Because the co-design systems relies on collaborations. Dapat there should be a collaborative testings na nangyayari para ma-ensure natin na yung performance natin for our computer systems ay maganda ang kanyang performance. That will end my talk. I hope, no, marami kayong natutunan. Nagtataka kayo bakit napakabilis because hindi po talaga ako nagto-talk for a very long time, very large time, yung napakahabang oras, because number one, I believe that the attention span of our students right now is very short. Na-ensure ko po na hindi po lahat sa atin ngayon ay nakikinig. Kaya that ends my talk today. Thank you for inviting me, and please extend my regards to Dr. Villanueva, Dr. Gomez, and Ma'am Jen. Thank you very much.
Thank you po, Engineer Tejada, for your insightful presentation. And if it's okay po sa inyo, if okay lang po sa inyo, meron po tayong question and answer session po.
Sure.
So may I call on Sean Boris? And any question, you can type or chat sa chat box. Go. Any question, Ariel?
Sir, may question ako kasi fourth year student na kami ngayon at ang na-approve sa amin ni Doc Gomez, which is yung corn shelling and drying. So, balak po namin gumawa ng prototype at nabanggit niyo po yung co-design at parang ang ganda niya kapag na-applied yung principle niya dun sa agricultural machine na gagawin namin. So, ang tanong ko po, paano namin may a-apply yung principle ng software hardware co-design dun sa agricultural machine na balak namin pong gawin?
Yeah, sorry. Nakamute pala ako. Sasalita na ako eh. Number one, sabi ko kanina during my discussion, if we want to apply the co-design systems on your project, dapat you need to be specific on your goals. Kasi baka mamaya, kung ang goal mo ay more on shelling and drying lang naman, baka mamaya, hindi akma yung sensors na bibilhin mo. So number one, dapat you need to consider on the hardware the right sensors na gagamitin mo. Malamang dun sa shelling and drying, you need to consider the moisture sensor, the temperature, yung rotation speed niya, yung motor na gagamitin mo, yung heater, yung actuator, and the microcontrollers. Correct? Now, on the software, malamang kung hardware, sa shelling and drying, dapat you need to integrate basic concept of AI/ML. Dapat ma-predict mo yung drying time din. Dapat automatically na yung system mo mag-o-off siya kung dry na. Hindi yung tuloy-tuloy, baka mamaya maluluto, right? Ang tanong ko, doon sa system mo ba mayroon siyang manual on human intervention ba kung i-off mo na yung shelling and drying ng corn mo?
Sa human intervention, sir, parang balak po namin is yung application sa system namin is for monitoring lang siya. Pinag-iisipan po namin kung lalagyan po namin ng human intervention para sa interaction ng machine tsaka ng user po.
Mas maganda siguro, this is my recommendation para mas ma-apply mo talaga yung call system design na gusto mong i-apply. Dapat ma-predict ng systems mo na kung dry niya or hindi. Ibig sabihin, kung dry niya, based on the sensor value, automatically niya nang i-off. Okay?
Okay po, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any question pa, Dennis?
Ako po, sir. May question po ako. Sa dami ng bagong technologies ngayon like AI, IoT, at edge computing, paano po nag-a-adapt ang software, hardware, co-design para mas ma-meet yung increasing demand for speed and efficiency?
Can you repeat the question? Medyo putol.
Sa dami ng bagong technologies ngayon like AI, IoT, at edge computing, paano po nag-a-adapt ang software, hardware, co-design para mas ma-meet yung increasing and demand for speed and efficiency?
Nag-a-adapt siya, yung ating software and hardware ngayon ay nag-a-adapt sa bagong teknolohiya based on the advanced hardware and how the systems, what is the functionality of that systems. Ibig sabihin, kapag yung system natin or yung computers or yung task natin ay nagiging pa-complex na ng pa-complex, no? Kailangan din natin i-adapt ng mas maganda. Kailangan na natin mag-upgrade yung ating hardware and software design. Ang basis natin sa pag-upgrade ng hardware and software design is that kung paano yung usability, paano yung specific task na gagawin niya, and then gaano ka-complex yung task na gagamitin or mangyayari doon sa systems. Those are the basics or basis para mag-upgrade tayo or mag-adjust tayo or paano mag-adjust tayo with the hardware and software na ginagamit natin ngayon. Remember, sinasabi ko ngayon, we are now in the age of AI. This is the current trend ngayon ng ating ng technology natin. If you're going to analyze it, habang nagkaroon na tayo ng AI and ML, mas gumanda din natin yung technology because nag-upgrade din tayo. Nag-upgrade yung ating mga yung ating computer systems because of the demand of the technologies na meron tayo ngayon. So that's the basics. That's my own opinion.
Sir, additional question lang po. About din po to sa ating list namin. Parang gusto ko lang po sana malaman kung ano yung mga key trade-offs between accuracy, cost, and power efficiency kapag in-implement namin yung AI models on embedded hardware for agriculture.
Ano?
Ano po yung key trade-off between accuracy, cost, and power efficiency when implementing AI models on embedded hardware for agriculture?
Number one, we are referring to accuracy, inote ko cost, and medyo nakamute ka. Power consumption. Now, number one here, in designing an AI in agriculture, number one dapat na consider mo, napakamahal po nito. Because, number one, hindi basta-basta na microcontroller ang gagamitin mo dito. It's either gagamit ka dito ng Jetson Nano or Raspberry Pi. If you're going to apply talaga AI in agriculture, hindi po pwede yung low-end lang na microcontroller ang gagamitin mo. It should be the high-end microcontroller para mas maging accurate yung magiging result niya. Sabi ko nga, if the project demands high impact, also the requirements, both software and hardware, is also expensive. So ibig sabihin, if you're going to, you will ask me, yung accuracy, cost, and power consumption, mataas later on to if you're going to apply in AI in agriculture. Tuha?
Yes po, sir.
Other question? Yes. Mas effective po ba simula muna sa simulation? Yes. Mas maganda siguro if you can conduct simulations muna. There are many simulation tools na gagamitin, no? Para kung nakita mong okay naman siya sa simulation, doon mo na siya i-implement later on. Kasi sa akin mas maganda muna, if I'm going to ask me, mas maganda isa-simulate ko muna siya. And then after that, kasi during simulation makikita ko yung specific components na kailangan. Miss ko na, kasi ang tanong mo is, mas effective po ba na magsimula muna sa simulation or mas maganda na sabayin ang hardware and software design? Kung ako ang tatanungin mo, I refer for simulation muna. Kasi during the simulation, makikita ko kung ano yung mga bottlenecks, ano yung mga problema doon sa systems ko. And then kung okay na, doon na ako bibili. Kaya if you're going to create a systems, kung tatanungin mo ako in in your capstone project siguro, on your CPU practice design, ang una kong gagawin, magsa-simulate muna ako. Once na gumana na, doon na ako bibigay or bibili para doon na ako magkakaroon ng actual design later on.
Thank you po, sir.
Any question pa or wala na? Guys. Okay. What's your question, Jade?
Sir, based on your experience po, ano po yung mga common mistakes na nagagawa ng mga developers or engineers kapag hindi nila isinaalang-alang yung co-design approach po sa early stage ng project?
Number one na problem dyan later on, hindi mag-work yung systems natin. Magiging inaccurate yung lumalabas na result ng ating systems. For example, when I design a systems, for example, this is a glucose level monitoring. Are you familiar with that, yung non-invasive? If you are diabetic patients kasi, nagpriprick ka, kumukuha ka ng dugo dito sa kamay mo para ma-check yung blood sugar. When we design a system like that using machine learning, non-invasive siya, itutusok mo lang yung kamay mo, ilalagay mo lang yung kamay mo doon sa sensor, ma-determine na niya yung glucose level mo. Ang naging problema namin doon noon is, nagkaroon kami ng maling sensor. Nagkaroon kami ng maling specification, maling required, mali yung specific sensor na ginamit namin. Nag-back to zero kami. Ibig sabihin kasi, if you're going to create a system, hindi basta-basta. Dapat i-sure mo na tama lahat. Kasi kung hindi tama yung mga software requirements, hindi tama yung hardware requirements mo, babagsak ang systems mo, hindi gagana yan. Magkakaroon ng discrepancy with regards to the performance of the systems. Number two, doon sa calibration ng sensor. Hindi lahat kasi ng sensor na bili-bili natin sa Shopee na kapag gumana na yun yung output. There are some sensors na kailangan mong i-calibrate. Kasi lang time, for example, gumawa kami ng air quality monitoring. We use, yung sensor? DHT11. Are you familiar with that? If you're familiar with DHT11 sensor, yung linalabas nung una na kinukode, that is not an air quality. It's a voltage. Yung voltage, i-convert mo para maging air quality index, air quality value. Ang alam ko noon, when I first had the project, kung ano yung lumabas ng sensor, yun na yun. Kaya nagtataka ako bakit ang baba, yun pala may computation, may mathematical para makuha mo. Yung linalabas pala nun is volume, voltahe. Hindi yung air quality index mismo. That's the voltage. I-convert mo using this formula para makuha mo yung carbon monoxide, parang ganun. So that's it. You need to familiarize your sensor para mas maging accurate. Okay? Third is that, yung coding. May problema din doon. Sa may part ng computer, sa may part ng software part. Baka mamaya, mali yung coding mo, mali yung instruction na pinasok mo, nagkaroon ng problema na doon sa systems. Kaya minsan, naniniwala ako na ang isang computer engineering student should be familiar with hardware components. Dapat computer engineering must be master in hardware components. Dapat master niya yon, alam niya yon. Kasi yung software, pwede mo na matutunan later on. Kasi yun ang paniniwala ko. Kung computer engineering, dapat magaling ka sa hardware, magaling ka sa circuitry. Magaling ka dapat sa mga pag-connection ng mga sensor or whatsoever. Correct? Kasi yung software later on, pwede mo nang matutunan yan. Pero, kung magaling ka nga sa software, pero wala kang alam sa hardware, walang saysay ang computer program to create the systems. Nagigets? Now, the question is, we need to balance. Kaya minsan, sinasabihan ko yung mga estudyante ko, kahit mahina ka sa programming, kung magaling ka sa circuitry, matutunan mo yan, gagana at gagana yung system. Ngayon pa at may ChatGPT na. AI to create your systems. Okay. Ano pa po? Tanong. Nagulat ako dun sa system mo, Mr. Balaguer. Pang mechanical yon. Yung shed, yung drying and ng systems. Nagulat ako. Any question po?
That's all na po ata for the question and answer, sir. Thank you so much po. And next slide nga. Yan. Once again po, thank you po, Sir Tejada, for your valuable insight. For the takeaway po for today's session, Jade, Ariel, any takeaway that you can share with us?
Yan. Thank you nga pala kay Sir Mike Albert Tejada sa pag-discuss natin for high-performance AI. Habang nakikinig ako, na-realize ko kung gaano ka-importante ang co-design. Lalo na ngayon, sa panahon ng artificial intelligence at machine learning. Before kasi, huwalay na ginagawa ang software at hardware. Pero ngayon, we can see na kapag pinagsabay at pinag-ugnay ang design process nila, mas nagiging efficient at powerful ng mga system na nagagawa. Isa sa mga tumatak sa akin ay yung idea na co-design help balance performance, energy, and accuracy. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang basta mabilis ang system, hindi matipid din sa kuryente at resources, which is really important for large-scale AI application. Ang ganda rin ng point na ang collaboration ng software at hardware engineer ang susi para makamit ang high-performance computing. Hindi lang dapat marunong sa coding or sa circuits, kundi marunong din magtrabaho. Nabanggit din kanina yung real-world example ko yung CPU, na talagang produkto effective co-design. Pinakita nito na kapag maayos ang coordination ng dalawang side, ay kaya nating makagawa ng system na mabilis, energy efficient, at scalable. Okay.
Ayan, so thank you, Ariel. So sa talk ni Sir Tejada na ano po namin na the successful AI/ML system, nagre-rely po siya sa collaboration between the software and hardware, and then through co-design principle po, mas naano po namin na mas ma-optimize po namin yung system performance, efficiency, and energy consumption. So next slide po. As a token of our appreciation po, sir, we will present the certificate of appreciation po. Next slide. Thank you very much po, Engineer Mike Albert Tejada po, for your time and for sharing your expertise with us today. So this is the certificate of appreciation po to Engineer Mike Albert Tejada in recognition of his valuable contribution and insightful expertise as a guest or resource speaker in the webinar, Software Hardware Co-Design for High-Performance System. And thank you so much po, Sir Tejada, for your time. And pwede po pa-request if pwede po mag-picture taking, pwede po mag-open cam po tayong lahat for documentation na rin po. Wait lang. Ay. Ayan. Can we... Ayan, so siguro pwede na yan. 1, okay. 1, 2, 3. Ayan. And isa pa, wait lang. Ulit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Ayan, thank you so much po everyone. And before we end po, meron pa po kaming icebreaker. Saglit na lang to, guys.
So yun guys, mabilis ang icebreaker bago tayo umalis. Next. So ito yung image talks. So parang pag combine nyo lang yung mga makikita nyong picture para makabuo kayo ng isang phrase na connected sa seminar natin ngayon. Next. First one. Sino gusto sumagot? Comment lang kayo guys. Phrase siya guys connected sa natin sa seminar. So makita natin yung bata dyan na sobrang kulit. So naman tawag sa mga bata kapag sobrang kulit nila. Starts with letter H, ganun. Tapos combine nyo lang dito sa 4, tapos sa itong picture na to, tapos sa S. Ayun, si Barosa nakuha niya na. Galing, galing. So ang sagot is high performance. So next naman tayo dito. Para sa mga nanonood ng anime dyan, Hunter x Hunter, sigurado familiar kayo dito kay Nobunaga, kung ano yung tawag sa ginawa niya. Go guys, try nyo lang. Ayun, nakuha na ni Aguilar. Fish. Ewan ko sa'yo, Brian. Next. Last one, guys. Ito, pinaka-connected to sa seminar namin ngayon. Nasa background namin. Nakuha ulit ni Barosa. Nakadalawa si Barosa. And guys, thank you sa mga sumagot.
Ayan, so thank you so much po, Sir Tejada, again. And before we officially close po, let us have a short closing prayer for guidance. So, Raven. And make sure then everyone na nag-fill up kayo ng attendance form. Thank you.
So let us once again put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Lord, we thank you for this day and for gathering us here to learn and share knowledge. Guide our minds and hearts so that we may gain wisdom and understanding throughout this webinar. Bless our speaker and everyone present. Amen.
Ayan, so that concludes our webinar for today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sir Tejada. Thank you po.
Thank you po, sir. Thank you, guys.
Bye.